Here we go. All righty. I'm looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They got smoked in the playoffs by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32-9. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. I love that. Philadelphia sucks. Welcome to the ground. Oh, time out. Gotta move the chair for my buddy Manny here. Hold on. All right, buddy. Hold on. Give me a second. All right. Okay, Randy's here. We can continue. Hey, welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there always going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, means the world to me. Thank you. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free. Far away, but plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, the second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And then finally, also just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one just underneath it, it's a Twitter link. I'm an old-time fart. I hate change. It's been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. 3 trillion years from now, it'll be Twitter because I'm an old-time fart and I hate change. So I'm one of those get up and on guys, right? Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I'm not calling it that. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I put Giants-related stuff in the Twitter account every day, right? So as I said, so you follow me, I'll follow you back. And then finally, also the link right above it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group. We have over 7,700 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in here, but if you become a member, between me and the members, post stuff in here every day as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton. There's a boatload. There's a heck of a lot, you might say, of information, New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. And all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Well, can it join? The way it is, it's like, what you're kind of hoping, right? You always try to hoping and getting on your knees and praying to sweet dear baby Jesus, please, let's build on what we did from last year and all that. You got, obviously with the injuries that kind of did things in and all that. But you kind of want to hope, what you did last year or with the playoffs, right? 2 seasons ago. Can we build on that? Add another couple pieces, and we did. We upgraded everywhere. And of course, with injuries and, we didn't get all the bounce. It seems like we got kind of the bounces. We won the close games and we got the bounces 2 years ago, right? This past season, we had injuries. We didn't get the bounces some of the time. We lost some of the close games and all that. So you take a step backwards. But the ideal thing is that, can you, add a couple. I said we added pieces everywhere last season and we took a step backwards. Right. But what you kind of, is that, each year you get it's a few pieces. You might lose somebody, right? But then hopefully maybe if you lose one or two people, whatever in free agency, you can replace them in the draft, and it would be a lot cheaper, save a lot of money, right? But you want to keep building, right? And that way, hopefully, yeah. The idea is, you keep building and adding and all of this stuff and whatnot, and then you go to the Super Bowl, right? Well, it's in this day and age, it's so tough. Like with the draft, not the draft, with the salary cap. There's a lot of it nowadays. It's guys want guaranteed money, and I certainly understand that and everything and whatnot. But I mean, it seems like you don't go, picking up free agents and bringing them in for 5-6 years, and a lot of small contracts, like 2 years. Bring a guy, prove it. Come on, and we'll bring you in for a year. You got to prove it, and a lot of 1-year deals, 2-year deals. It's it's constant. I mean, and if the guy's a free agent, after signed to like a 1-year deal or 2-year deal, he's a free agent. Right? It doesn't mean that you're gonna want it because you want him back. He's gonna you're gonna want to bring him back. Now, if we look at what the Giants have, I mean, my goodness, I mean, you look at all these free agents the Giants have. It's like, holy cow. I mean, you realize it's not like. But this is like between restricted free agents and undrafted, not undrafted free agents, restricted and unrestricted free agents, undrafted free agents. Yeah. Now, if you start looking, this is just, and then there's a couple other guys in here, but restricted and unrestricted free agents. Okay, let's see. The Giants have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Nick McLeod's restricted though to 22, 23, 24. They got 24 either restricted or unrestricted free agents. And then if we look, what do the Giants have here? Okay, and this is Spot Track. If you go to Over the Cap, you go to Spot, it's always different. But Spot Track has the Giants with 27 estimated cap space, 27.8 million dollars. That's not a lot, right? That's not a lot. Especially we have 52 active players. Okay, but we got our draft class we have to bring in. We have to sign that, right? We're going to make we're going to bring in some free agents and all and everything like that. But the thing is that we're losing a lot of guys. We're going to lose a lot of guys. That's 24 guys. Now, there's some guys we can probably bring back to be like on the cheap, right? Now I don't really think, for what I'm just hearing, Carter Coughlin doesn't seem like he's going to wind up being back. Cam Brown doesn't sound like he's going to be back. Hopefully we can bring back Nick McLeod. But Shane Lemieux, I'm sure he's probably gone. White, Davis, unfortunately, injuries. Ben Bredesen, Gunnar Olszewski. Hopefully we can bring him back. Darnay Holmes. J.C. Hassanauer, he got injured, so he really wasn't much of a factor this season. Matt Parrott, if he's going to be back. And of course, one of our 37 kickers that got on injured reserve, Randy Bullock, Jared Davis, the linebacker, he got injured really early as well, too. Sterling Shepard. I'm sure, unfortunately, Shep won't be back. Casey Kreider. Now it seems like it's like with him every year. It's like it seems like we sign it for a 1-year deal. He's a free agent, and we have to try to bring him back. It's like, I don't know. Let's see. Matt Breida. You're not sure if we're going to be bringing him back or not. Jihad Ward. I kind of doubt he's going to be back. Xavier McKinney. just sounding like what kind of money he seems like he's looking for. Like he wants to go to Girly World, and he wants to right. He wants the big time bucks, and I don't think the Giants with $27 million. I don't think there's any way in HEL double hockey sticks that they're bringing him back if he wants like 15 to $20 million a year or something like that. Not happening. Let's see. Raheem Nunez Roches. He's an unrestricted free agent. Let's see. Paris Campbell. I mean, we brought him in for a 1-year deal. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Brought him in for $4.7 million. It's like, you know what? We really can't use this guy. It's like, I mean, I understand, you know, and all that stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a coach or I'm a GM or this or that thing. But I mean, really, you spent $5 million almost on a guy to bring him in. It's like, you know, I don't think we're going to use him, or we just can't seem to fit. I mean, that's pretty sad. That's really pretty sad. I mean, not so much. I mean, feel bad for the guy, but it's also why are you bringing guys in if you have no intention? I mean, it's like, I mean, of course it's not like, well, let's bring this guy and we have no intention upon using him, so let's just sign for $5 million, just have him sit on it. But I mean, you didn't do your homework a little bit better, right? I mean, anyway, what a waste that was. Absolute waste of $5 million. A'Shawn Robinson, Isaiah Simmons. Now we traded a 7th round pick to get him in here. The guy's got some special talents. Let's see here. Tyrod Taylor. Not sure if you're going to want to bring him back. I mean, I love Tyrod. Tyrod's an absolute class act human being, a class act teammate, class act experience, knowledge, all that stuff. The dude is a walking injury waiting to happen, unfortunately. Of course, we got Saquon Barkley, Adoree Jackson. You know, I mean, so it's, you know, it is so difficult the way it is, you know, set up and everything. You know, with all these 1-year, 2-year deals, it's like basically, it's like I just rattled off 24 guys, and of course we're going to bring some of them back. But I mean, even if we wind up losing 15, 16 of them or so, right? Yeah, it's like that's like a third of the team. So we lose 17 guys, right? We have 24. If we lose 7, say if we sign, we keep 7 of them. I'm just throwing a number out there, right? We lose 17 guys. That's basically 33% of your team. Right, 17, 34, 51. That's, you know, that's about a third of your team. You know, I mean, it's, as I said, especially nowadays, it's like, you know, with these short contracts, it's like, you know, you bring guys in for 1-year deals and then they're free agent. You just got to keep bringing these guys, you know, and I understand. I mean, I'm kind of wondering. I mean, is there ever going to be, as stupid as this sounds, is it ever going to be? I mean, the way that they have to be with their money and all, is there ever going to be a time where there's like a 1-game contract? Well, we'll sign you for a game. If you get injured, we'll let you go. I'm just kind of wondering if it's ever going to get to something like that. But I mean, for the Giants to, you know, do what they have, and you know, and the guys that they had this season's best, and then just let's add a few more, bring in a couple free agents. We got 7 draft picks now, which I want to go over them too. Just get some draft picks in there, right, and all that, you know. But the thing is as you're adding these picks in, right, you're losing guys, right? Well, you know, we'll add in an edge rusher. Okay, you know, we need an edge rusher, but you know, but then you're losing a safety. You're losing your number 1 cornerback. Well, Banks will take over for the number 1 cornerback. You know, who's going to step up at the other cornerback? You know, you still need a wide receiver. You know, we need quarterbacks. We need at least 2 quarterbacks in there, especially because when like mini camps start and all that, like whatever, and like in May and stuff like that, Daniel Jones ain't going to be available. So you got Tommy Chicken Cutlets Parmesan, right? And you have nobody else. So you got to bring in at least 2 quarterbacks, right? What's going on with Saquon? right? You have no idea there. Do we want to add to our tight ends? Because Darren Waller, okay, he can be. He's not what he used to be, and you can always pencil in Darren Waller missing 5 games in 2020. Just you can just pencil in. You're not sure what games it's going to be, and you can just pencil in. He'll be on the injury report with a hamstring, questionable or doubtful, or out with a hamstring. Pencil that in 5, 6, 7 games. I mean, they were babying him, this, that, and the other thing, and all of that. I think week 1 he popped up with a hamstring. It's like, what? What's going? What? Yeah. So pencil him in for that. So we can certainly add to the tight end. I mean, Lawrence Cager, okay. Daniel Bellinger, he seemed to take a step back this past season. Yeah, so we need some talent at the tight end position as well too. So I mean, we need, but we need so much. But then, as I said, also we're losing all these guys too. Now, but the nice thing is here about if you look at the draft, I mean, the Giants don't have a 7th round pick. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, but we are 7 picks. Okay, the beauty of it is the 7 picks we have are all in the top 167 picks. We got the first rounder, we have the 2 second rounders, one thanks to Leonard Williams, right? So basically, we have 5 picks in the top 103. You can do some nice damage there. Not only that, I'm saying even with picks, the 6th round pick 167. I mean, you could probably get you should be able to get a contributor there as well. So the Giants could do pretty well there with 7 picks. Could and help alleviate some of the pain that they're going to have by losing a lot of these free agents. But also, we'll have a little bit of money to bring a couple free agents in. We might be able to make one nice little splash, but nothing too crazy. In 2025, let's see what we got here. Where are we at here? We got some dough. We can straight up go to Girly World in 2025 here. I mean, this is according, let's see, update here. What do we got? We have over $120 million as of right now. Of course, now this doesn't include the draft class, but we have 100, this doesn't include this year's draft class, doesn't include next year's draft class. However, we have, once again, this is, it's always fluid. This is just a speculation. 120. This is speculating that the adjusted salary cap is going to be $287 million. Okay, so once again, that's not going to be right. That's going to be off a little bit. But the thing is that you say we sign this year's draft class and next year's draft class. It's probably not going to be 10 million and 10 million, but let's just for SHITs and giggles, right? Let's say it's 10 million and 10 million. So we have 7 guys next season. We have 7 guys this year, right? That's another 14 guys to say that's 20 million cap space, right? Well, we have 120 million next season, right? So if you take the 20 million off of the 2 draft classes, about $100 million. Of course, that doesn't also include any free agents that we may be bringing this season. All that. So it's going to come down a little bit as well, too. But we will have some money next season. We could bring in a couple, if we don't get that dog wide receiver, right? I'm not sure next season who's going to be a free agent as far as a wide receiver. I'm not sure, or we use an edge rusher, right? If we go out and spend $25 or $30 million on another edge rusher, team somebody up with. Got Kayvon over here, and we got somebody else over there. I just saw Von Miller. My goodness, he got paid like $15 million this past season. He wound up with 0 sacks and 5 tackles for the season. He played 14 games. He had apparently something I saw. He had five tackles. I think it was. Whew, wow. But anyway, we can go out and get ourselves another edge rusher. We can get ourselves a defensive lineman. To put next to the Sexy Dexy or something like that. So next season, we'll certainly have a little bit of money. Next season, we should be able to add a couple nice pieces to the puzzle. Now, obviously, the thing is what you don't want to be doing is bringing your team in and all that. Okay, we're going to bring in 37 free agents. That ain't what you want to do. If you can bring in, maybe, you got to bring in free agents, period. But the object is not go out and spend $15-20 million on like 7, 8, 9 free agents and bring in, that's not the way to do it. But we certainly could bring in 1 or 2 or 3 real nice guys, and that wouldn't be bad. But we could also, and now you don't know what their thinking is with Daniel Jones, but we could get rid of Daniel Jones after 2024. If we got rid of him this season, I think it's like a $60 million dead cap. So there's no way Daniel Jones is a giant in 2024. But I said after 2024, if we were to let him go, because they structured the deal that way, okay, that they can get out after 2 seasons. So, you can curse at Shane all you want, this, that, and the other thing, right? It is what it is, but get out after 2 seasons. Okay, so that's might also give you a little clue as to kind of maybe what Joe Shane's kind of, and maybe Dable and all that, but what he's kind of maybe thinking as far as with Daniel Jones, right? But if we were to get rid of Daniel Jones after 2024, we would save about $20 million in cap space in 2025, and that'll give us even more money. So once again, it's going to be very, very interesting, which is lead me to my next thing. Very, very interesting in this draft. But which leads me to my next thing. So I'm going to jump over. Hold on here. What do we got here? What did I do? Senior Bowl standout. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump over that. I'm going to go to the blockbuster trade. Now, once again, oh boy, I love these trades, but this one, this one seems to make a little more sense to me. This one I can kind of see. There was another one I saw, and I did a video on this one because I seen this blockbuster trade, it was a few weeks ago, and it had the Giants giving up, I think, a couple firsts, I think maybe a second, a third, I think it's grand total like 5 or 6 players altogether, but it was like 4 or 5 draft picks, but they also had in there to trade with the Bears to get the number 1 pick. There was 2 different trades I saw, blockbuster trades. One of them was giving the Bears Darius Slayton. Okay. And the other one, I think, was throwing Saquon Barkley. So that would be like they would have to sign him, right? And then trade him, right? Because you can't trade him if he's not under contract. So he's got to sign a contract, right? And then you got to trade him, right? But so those were kind of, it was like give the Bears like 4 or 5 to go from 5 to 1. Give them like 4. I think it was maybe it was just 4 picks, but then throw in a player as well too. And it wasn't like Matt Parrott or something like that. It was like Darius Slayton, or Saquon Barkley. Like, man, it's an awful lot. But this one, I can kind of see that. This one to go from 5 to 1 is still kind of steep, but you'd be getting the number 1 overall pick. This one was go from 5 to 1. You give them 2 firsts and 2 seconds. Right, for the Bears to go back to number 5. Now, the thing is, although, because you're not sure what the Bears are thinking here. Now, obviously, if the Bears say yes to something like this, they're not looking for a quarterback, right? Or there's a good chance they're not looking for a quarterback in the top, right? Because you're not going to, give up on May or whatever, and Williams and the other quarterbacks and slide back, and take sloppy thirds or fourths or something like that in the quarterback. So, but you don't know what the Bears are thinking. If the Bears want a quarterback, they're staying at number 1. They'd be stone cold. If they fall in love with one of these quarterbacks, like Williams, right? You can offer them the next 500 first-round picks, and nope. If they need a quarterback, if they think Williams is their guy, right? And it works out fine for them, too, as well, because they figure if they got Justin Fields and they got Caleb Williams. They can let him battle it out. This, as I'm saying, Justin Fields, you start the season, whatever. If you start faltering or something, we'll slide Caleb Williams in there. Somewhere along the line, we'll set up a trade for Justin Fields, and we'll get at least a second-round pick for him, right? But as I said, if the Bears were to say yes to this trade, then you know they're not looking for a quarterback. But as of right now, you still don't know, what's kind of going on with the Chicago Bears. But the thing was, which made this also kind of nice, is that the Giants are really only giving up like 3 of their own picks. They're giving up 2 firsts, and it's not like giving up 2 firsts. Because they're swapping. They're going from 5 to 1. So they're giving up their 5th round pick, but they're getting the first pick. You know what I mean? So, right? So basically, the Giants are basically losing their first round pick in 2025 and their second round pick, their own second round pick this season, right? They're giving up the other second round pick, but that's the one they got from Leonard Williams, right? So this one here, I could see a little bit more. It says, according to the NFL draft value chart, this package of the Giants draft picks is worth 2,540 points as April, plus the additional value of the unknown 2025 first. The number 1 pick is worth 3,000 points. So what I'm saying is that, they don't know where the Giants are. It's an unknown value for the 2025 first round pick. So, but I mean, if you look, let me see here. Let me type this in here. And NFL draft value chart. But I mean, if you look, 2024 version, we got here. This is, let's see, the 32nd overall pick is worth 590 points. It's worth over at least 6 times. So if the Giants were to win the Super Bowl, basically their first round pick would be worth almost 600 points. But if they're picking in the middle of the pack, right, like say 15 or 16 or even 17, somewhere around there, their pick is worth 1,000 points. Now, the thing is here is that, you can't really, like for the number 1 pick, especially if it's for a quarterback or somebody like that, you can ask for a little extra premium. You can ask for a little bit of extra ketchup and mustard on your Big Mac or whatever. Go with me, guys, here, right? So, but what they're talking about here is the Giants' 3 picks here. The 3 picks that their first round from this season, the 2 second round picks is worth 2,590 points. All right. When you factor next year's first rounder is guaranteed to contribute somewhere between 590 to 3,000 points. This feels like a worthwhile bargain for the Bears, assuming that they elect to stick with Justin Fields as their franchise quarterback. So you figure the Giants are going to give the Bears well over, even at worst comes to worst, over 3,000 points when you factor in their first round pick from next season in 2025. So even if you figure if they're picking in, let's say, the middle of the pack, right? Say the 15, 16, 17, somewhere around there, okay? Their total package would be worth like well over 3,500 points that they're giving to the Bears. Now, the Bears, according to the value chart, right, and their number 1 overall pick is worth only 3,000 points. So the Giants are giving them 3,500 points in return. The Giants are giving them 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, okay? And as I said, you look, let's see, the Giants, let's see here, what Giants? Oh, here we go. Can I pick this in? Where we at? NYG. All right, here we go. NYG. Submit. There you go. Okay, so now the Giants, right? And pick 39 is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the seventh? That's the 7th pick in the second round. So they would be giving the Bears pick 6, right? The 7th pick in the second round, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and the 15th pick. So basically, they give them the 3 of the top 47 picks in the draft, the Bears. But It's 3 out of the top 47, but it's not only so much that it's also it's the pick 6, which is nice, which would be fantastic for the Bears, especially if they're thinking about sticking with Justin Fields. Then also not to mention the fact that the Bears will probably will be getting the Giants' first round selection in 2025, as I said. Yeah, I mean, the Giants ain't winning the Super Bowl next season, so you can pretty much forget about that. But you figure that the Giants pick from next season will be worth, be anywhere from the number 1 overall pick to maybe the early 20s. So I'm kind of figuring, right? Just to be kind of honest here, it's not going to be picked 31 or 32, but it is also kind of odd, kind of funny and all, because what happened a few years ago, right? Who called the Giants up, right? Who picked the phone up and talked to, right? Who wanted to swap with the Giants? The Bears, right? So here it is a few years later, the Giants maybe picking the phone up. Who do they want to swap with? The Bears, right? So you wash my back, I wash your back. So we'll have to wait and see. But that will certainly let you know what Joe Schoen thinks and all that. I mean, regardless, they're going to get themselves a very good player at number 6. And if worse comes to worse, they take the best player available. Whether that's I just keep hearing is like 3 real good wide receivers. I don't know if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to make it to number 6 at the Giants. Even if the top 3 picks are quarterbacks, out of the next 2 picks, he can kind of. Well, I mean, ain't no guarantee, right? But I'm not sure if Marvin Harrison Jr. will make it to the Giants at number 6. But there's still a couple other good wide receivers out there. There's those good tackles. I don't know if the Giants are going to want to take in a tight end that high. But the Giants, they'll get themselves a good pick regardless. And I said, even if they don't even make a trade, I said, 3 of the top 47 picks in this draft. I mean, I said, then, you got 4 of the top 70, and then you have 5 of the top 108. I saw 103 someplace. Regardless, I mean, it's the Giants are gonna, they'll get themselves a fine player regardless. But it said here, from a Giants perspective, this proposal would be categorized as the home run swing. Yeah, Dable and Schoen would have their choice of an elite young quarterback, as Knox put it. And they would also leapfrog the division rival Washington Commanders at that position. An absolute slam dunk if you hit on the pick. Yes. Now we also have Leonard Williams to thank. Here, the Leonard Williams trade puts the Giants within striking distance of Caleb Williams or Drake May. The shrewdness of the Leonard Williams to the Seattle Seahawks, who ended up missing the playoffs, allows for all this to happen. So the Seahawks traded away a 2nd-round pick to get Leonard Williams, and they still didn't make the playoffs. Right, that extra 2nd-round pick in 2024 would be enticing, according to Knox, I guess, who wrote this article, being that it provides the Bears with a return that gives them 3 selections inside the top 50 in this draft, and then they would have an additional 1st-rounder next season. On the flip side, a deal like this is a franchise-altering risk by the Giants. Just look at the Carolina Panthers as Exhibit A. The NFC South organization gave up a haul of draft picks to select Bryce Young in 2023. 1 year later, they fired their coaching staff after finishing dead last in the NFL. Chicago now holds their pick at the top of the order, and Carolina ownership has to be wondering if they've made a critical mistake that might set them back years, which is quite possible. Giants president and CEO John Mara would be taking a similar leap of faith on Dable in a trade of this magnitude. Will the Bears allow another franchise to roll the dice? Jones has been slightly above average at his best and simply can't be counted on as a long-term option, Knox argued after detailing the trade. A fair conclusion. But who should the Giants entrust their future to if they were to acquire the number 1 pick? I mean, as I said, it's none of these guys, 6'4", 100, May, supremely talented passer that has dual threat ability as a runner like Williams. The biggest weakness at the college level was doing too much, and neither quarterback played for an elite program that faces NFL-ready defenders. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, the one thing here is when you talk is that, you know, just listen to the guys talk and everything, is that there's nobody, there's no court, there's no Peyton Manning coming out. There's no Andrew Luck coming. There's no, you know, John Elway or something. You know, there's no draft this guy, lock him in as long as he stays healthy, unlike Andrew Luck, which is a freaking shame. The talent the guy had just with his injuries, it is what it is. But if there's no guy here, bring him in, and he's your quarterback for the next 15 years. You're good to go, right? Build a team around him. You're good to go. There's none of that. All of these guys have some question marks with them, or question mark or two with them, whatever. So if you're gonna gamble, and you're gonna trade away 2 firsts and 2 seconds for a quarterback, you better hit that home run, brother. Because the other thing is too is that if they trade away 2 firsts and 2 seconds, right, and they bring him in, and then they bench Daniel Jones, and they want to let Daniel Jones go after the season, and then they bring, say, Caleb Williams in, right? And he comes in, and he's not quite the guy they thought he was, right? Dable's seat's going to start getting a little hot, right? And if he's not doing well, right, or the quarterback's not doing well, the Giants aren't doing well, Dable might have 2 seasons, right? Because you got a new quarterback in, you give yourself a second season. So then if it's like, you know, he's gone, Dable's gone, well, the new guy coming in, well, this is your quarterback. He's not very good. We traded 315 draft picks to get him. He's not real good. You're probably going to need another quarterback, you know. So, I mean, that's the one problem. It's that the problem of, you know, once again, is that, you know, firing coaches and bringing in new coaches and coordinators and all that. You know, you got the new coach comes in, sits in, and he looks over the team. He's like, you know, they're not my guys. Yeah, I'm going to need some other guys. You know, so then you start bringing their guys in, right? And of course, nowadays it's like if you don't win a Super Bowl in your second season, you're gone, right? Right. I mean, there's no 5-year rebuilding plan. There ain't none of that. It's like a 5-game rebuilding plan. It's like, you know, if you don't win us a Super Bowl after 5 games, you're fired. So we don't need you. But the problem is that, you know, you keep bringing these guys in, and they keep looking at the team. They're not my guys. Yeah, if I'm going down with the Titanic, I want to bring my own guys in. So they start bringing their guys in, right? And then if they start doing bad after 2 seasons, he's gone. Then the new coach sits down. And he's looking. These aren't my guys. I want to bring my, you know what I mean? And you just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. You know, the impatience that there is, you know, we have to win a Super Bowl 13 weeks ago. That's the way it is nowadays with the NFL and all of that. And it's a shame. I mean, there's no, you know, it's very difficult to, you know, be around for a couple of seasons. I mean, you know, you figure, what was it, 3-12-1 Bill Parcells was in 1983, you know. Basically, there was chances he was going to be gone after 1 season. You know, so he was lucky he came back for a second season, but he turned it around. But I mean, if he didn't turn it around, you know, if he went from 3-12-1 to say 5-11, he was probably gone. Yeah, but I mean, if you go back however many years, you know, you bring in a coach in, it's like, you know, they really didn't fire a coach after like 2 seasons. Yeah, I mean, unless there was, I can't remember the guy's name, the Houston Oilers coach, the only team in NFL history, 72-73 Houston Oilers, back-to-back 1-win seasons. I mean, you get something like that, yeah, you're gone. Yeah, but I mean, you know, for the most part, you know, a lot of coaches back then, even if the team struggled the first couple of years or so, usually you had a coach in there for 3 or 4 years. You know, you had to bring in his guys and stuff. You know, so the guy's back, whatever. Of course, we're talking 30, 40, 50 years ago. You know, the coaches came in and, you know, they signed a 5-year contract, had a 5-year deal or whatever, you know, bring my guys in, let me get my system in there and all that stuff and everything. And we'll slowly start building. We'll turn this stuff around and all, but not nowadays. Not nowadays. And that's the problem. That's the huge gamble you're making right here. The one nice thing is that, yeah, it's a gamble, but you do know you've seen a little track record with Dable. He kind of knows, he knows what he's talking about. He's a little grumpy at times, right? So is Tom Coughlin. So is Bill Parcells. But, Dable, he knows what he's looking at, right? So if they're like chips in the middle of the table, right, on this one quarterback, we get this guy, we should be good to go. I think I like what I see and all that stuff and everything. Expect Dable to be very hands-on, calling the plays and all that stuff. That's if they draft the quarterback, right? Especially because if it's Dable's, it's basically it's his rear end on the line. So if they push in the middle of the table and they draft the quarterback and he backfires, well, that's his butt. So it is what it is. But at least he'll be going down going down with the Titanic with his own quarterback, right? Instead of Daniel Jones. So a lot of interesting stuff going on. A lot of interesting stuff going to be going on, obviously, in these next few weeks. Then we have Senior Bowl standouts. Now, of course, the East-West Shrine game, the talent level, I mean, you'll out of there, you'll have some guys will make it to the pros, obviously, some guys. But that's like lower talent guys and all of that, just, trying to make a name for themselves. And some of them stand out and all of that. I'm sure the draft stock will go up and all of that. But it's the Senior Bowl. That's where the big guys, that's where the big guns are for the most part, right? And so there's been, obviously, I think today was just the first day of practice at the Senior Bowl. But some of these guys made them kind of making a name for himself. Like I seen this one guy here, Ricky Pearsall. He's a wide receiver. I mean, he is a video here. He put on some moves. Let me tell you what. He faked this one cornerback out of his jockstrap. Let me tell you what. It says, this was the first day of Senior Bowl practice. It's come and gone now. And as always, some players make an immediate impact on day one, whereas some need more time to find a rhythm. As someone who covers the Florida Gators and Locked On Gators, Ricky Pearsall was always going to be a focal point of the week, especially given his route running ability in a one-on-one environment. Let's see. Let's see here. I do apologize here. Brandon Olson, I guess he wrote this. He said, even though I expected him to perform well, I didn't think he would immediately make defensive backs look silly in coverage. And I said, there's one, he put a couple moves on and then he cut out to the back corner of the end zone. And the move he put on, the cornerback went one way. Ricky Pearsall went to the back corner of the end zone. And actually, it wasn't the greatest passing one because he's like back there. He's like about 10 yards away from the cornerback. And he's like, waiting for the ball to come down, waiting. And finally he gathered it in. But he put on some good moves, let me tell you what. So by the end of the day, the expectation, whenever Pearsall stepped up to the line, was that he was going to create separation. Where Pearsall looked most improved from his game film was beating press at the line of scrimmage, only being jammed successfully a couple of times. And then there was the Toledo Rockets. You don't usually hear much about them, but they had a cornerback, Quinion Mitchell. Mitchell entered the day as a fringe first-round pick who allowed just 290 yards and no touchdowns this season. But, of course, had the question of performing against that wasn't going up against NFL talent. It was just the first day, but Mitchell lined up and answered about every question he could in a day. Mitchell could enter the top 10 to 15 conversations with a continued dominant week and a strong interview process. And this guy's a freaking sequoia tree. Oklahoma, Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle. You would be hard-pressed to find a more physically imposing offensive tackle than Tyler Guyton on the planet. Not just at the Senior Bowl. Guyton started his career at TCU before transferring to Oklahoma and finding his stride as a blocker in 2023. He's 6'7", 328 pounds. Let's say pair those measurables with an intensity as a blocker, and he's an offensive line coach's dream. Every year, one offensive lineman changes the tone of practice, and so far, that's been Guyton. He's got a little nasty streak to him. And, of course, we got the quarterbacks. It's not easy to impress as a quarterback during day one of senior ball practices, and to be fair, most did. But that's not to say that there weren't bright spots throughout. So you got in there. South Alabama quarterback Carter Bradley was considered the dark horse going into the week, being the least established in the room. But he is making some nice plays as a passer. Tennessee's Joe Milton continued to struggle with his accuracy, something that plagued him with his whole college career. So he also continued to show off his live arm, and from my point of view, looked a bit more technically sound with his motion. Every year there's a big arm quarterback that is going into the week. I say, man, I can't wait to watch this guys uncork a few, and they rarely do it. But Milton showed up on day one. Penn State tight end Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson is another player who raised eyebrows just going through the measurements on Monday, and he followed that up with a strong performance on the field. Johnson was the top tight end of the day for me and continues to impress as an athlete. Usually as the week goes on, we see more 11-11 work where Johnson will be able to prove himself once more instead of just facing defenders one-on-one. So, I mean, there's there's always going to be guys, to be shooting up the draft boards. This guy's a third round pick, but I'll tell you what, he might be a first. After this week he had the Senior Bowl, he might be a first rounder now. So that always winds up happening. Then of course, Joe Schoen, he did a little bit of talking here, right? He met. Joe Schoen, his quarterback is still under NFL draft consideration while he's still supporting Daniel Jones, right? Daniel Jones, is will be the starting when he's healthy, of course. The Giants can stand by Daniel Jones while planning for the future at the same time. Joe Schoen said Tuesday at the Senior Bowl that the plan is Jones to remain the team's starting quarterback entering 2024. But the Giants' third-year GM said he intends to take a good player at number 6 overall in the NFL draft, and quarterback is one of the positions under consideration. Absolutely. Where we are, we're in a good spot at 6, Shane said Tuesday morning in downtown Mobile. We're going to look at every position. We have needs across the board, offensively and defensively. Yes, yeah. But a lot of what I'm hearing is that, there's not as certainly isn't written in stone, but what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of offensive heavy, shall we say, the first round. I mean, I'm hearing 9 of the top 10 could be, or 10 of the top 10 could be offensive weapons. I mean, so you figure there's maybe 3 wide receivers, there's the tight end, there's 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks, quite possibly. There's a couple tackles. I mean, so you're not hearing, oh, no, this edge rusher. There's no Chase Young. Whew, this dude's number 1. There's no Sauce on the side Gardner. Take this guy. If he's there at number 2, you're taking Sauce. You're not hearing that. So it seems like it's very top-heavy offensive-wise, this draft. So. Still, that doesn't mean that Shane is going to take a quarterback at the top of the first round. It's entirely possible that the Bears, the Commanders, and the Patriots all will take a quarterback with picks 1, 2, and 3, with Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May, the cream of the crop. Shane's sentiment does indicate, however, that the Giants have their eyes open to the possibility of planning for life after Daniel Jones. Obviously, they have to get their future first, which means patching up their roster immediately to help Jones and Brian Dable win more games in 2024. That's one of the many reasons why drafting a number 1 wide receiver like Washington's Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors would make sense in the first round, because they're talking about that because they don't expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to be there at number 6. He might be the first one off the board right after the quarterback, frenzy stops. So But hypothetically, Shane still could trade into the back of the first round or use his early second round pick on a quarterback who could still sit and develop for a year behind Jones. Would there be patience in New York for the Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love type slow play? Maybe not. Definitely not if the Giants stink again out of the gate next fall. But that's why it's important to keep more than just the top three quarterbacks in mind, like Tennessee's Joe Milton, who looked the part at Tuesday's afternoon senior practice. Giants need a planning quarterback past 2024, and it's likely they will use this year's draft to try and solve that. Then he also talked about, Shane was talking about, trying to get a defensive coordinator, hopefully by the end of the week. Shane said, hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have some resolution at the defensive coordinator position. He said, Dable is working through the candidates now, but the Giants took Buffalo Bills linebacker coach Bobby Babbage off the board on Tuesday because he got promoted. He's now the Bills defensive coordinator. So Baltimore Ravens secondary coach Denard Wilson remains an option, although the competition increased Tuesday when the Packers requested an interview, along with the Titans, the Packers, the Rams, and the Giants. So there's four teams going after him. So it's just a matter of time before somebody plucks him up. Right? The Giants, Miami Dolphins, and the Jacksonville Jaguars reportedly were blocked by Carolina from interviewing Evero, Panthers defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero. So that is something to monitor. And Chiefs linebacker coach Brendan Daly has been interviewed, but if the Giants have to pick him, they wouldn't be able to resolve that until after the Super Bowl, which is not for 2 weeks. Shane did say he thinks the Giants have the defensive personnel to stay in a 3-4 scheme or pivot to a 4-3 no matter who they hire. Well, I mean, they'll be a little thin if they think they're going 4-3. I mean, especially if you're looking at Ashawn Robinson is maybe a free agent. Nacho might be a free, so they're a little thin on talent, might I say, if they have to go to a 4-3. I think the way we're built, we can be 4-3 or 3-4. He said we drafted that way. We're not pigeonholed into one certain scheme. I think where the personnel is on defense right now, whether it's 4-3 or 3-4, I think we can go out and play. And then, of course, there's nothing on Saquon yet. But they did do a little bit of conversation, a little bit of talking. Shane said that he and Saquon Barkley agreed that Shane would speak with the running back's agent at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis in late February. So I talked with him after the season, and we had a good conversation, Shane said. He was getting ready to go to Africa for a Super Bowl commercial. The plans is to circle up with his representatives when we get to the Combine. I'm very interested in seeing what that commercial's about. I don't know if it's just Saquon or if it's other guys or not, but I'm very, very interested to see what the commercial's all about. It doesn't seem logical for Shane to use the franchise tag a second straight year to $12.1 million in cap space for Barkley for the season. I mean, I said that the thing is that it's you can't there's no we'll tag them. It's $12 million, but we'll break it up over that's right out. That's right out of the south. And they have like 20-something million. And basically, you're going to use half of that on Saquon. That doesn't make much sense. Especially then if you have the draft, the 7 picks. You guys should be. You're looking at basically between your especially what is pick 6 here? Let's see here. Draft. And let's say it's NFL draft. Picks dollar amount. There we go. That's here. All right. First round expect to make in 2020. This is 2023. Okay. All right. See if we can find All right, how much money? Let's see, we have a list here. The list. Pick 6, $30 million. So basically, pick 6 on a 4-year deal. Each first round contract. So so basically it's like $7.5 million. So I mean, you're looking at, pick 6, and you're looking at only, without the barest minimum, just say $10 million you're going to need at least for the draft class, because pick 6 is going to cost you some money. Right? Good for them, right? They're a high draft pick. They want the money. They're good for you guys. So you're figuring you're going to need at least $10 million for it. That's if they use all their draft picks and all that and everything. And then if you're going to go out of your way and spend $12 million on Saquon, I mean, they're going to have like a couple $1 million left over to sign free agents. It's like, that doesn't make much sense. It doesn't make much sense. So if they have to, tag them, they might wind up tagging and trade them. Right? I mean, if they had a lot more money, that might make some sense, but they don't have much money. They do not have much money. So, I mean, I could see maybe a tag and trade, which wouldn't be bad, right? Because especially if they could find somebody who wants to take them on, and then the Giants would maybe, I don't know what they would get in return for Saquon, maybe a 3rd-round pick, something like that. I mean, if they can get a 2nd, man, that'd be freaking awesome. But, they got another 3rd-round pick, man, if they had a 1st, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. Right? I mean, if you're looking at that, they would have then they would give them what would that be? 6 picks in the top 105 or 6 or 8 or whatever it was. That wouldn't be bad. That would not be bad at all. And you can certainly find Saquon's replacement in those top 5 or 6 picks, without question. Now, Saquon's still a special talent, regardless, no matter what. But let's not forget, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This will be his 7th season as a running back in the NFL. The tread on the tires starting to wear a little thin. Right? I'm not saying he's over the hill. He needs to retire, not like that. But he's used up some tread off his tires, without question. But I talked with him after the season. We had a good conversation. He was getting ready to go to Africa. Right? Let's see. It doesn't seem logical for Schoen to use the franchise tag a 2nd straight season and tie up $12.1 million in cap dollars to Barkley this season, though the Giants projected at only $21.8 million in cap space as of Tuesday per over the cap. So as I said, over the cap's got him at 21.8. Spot track's got him at 27. I don't know. There's a good chance it's going to be a multi-year deal. If not in New York, then somewhere else. I mean, that's the thing is that, what do the Giants, see with Saquon, right? But as I said, if they can't get something done, right? I mean, the best thing that, as I said, it would be a little crazy for them to basically use up half of their salary cap to tag Saquon and have him come back for another season. It just wouldn't make much sense, right? So I said, so maybe, they can, but they gotta get him signed because they can't trade him, right? If he's not, he doesn't have a contract, right? That's like me not working for McDonald's, but McDonald's trades me to Burger King. Well, how can you trade me? I don't work for you. I mean, but they got to get him, regardless, they got to get him to sign a contract. And as I said, I mean, it'd have to work out for the best, for him too. I mean, it'd have to be like, okay, Saquon, let's sign the, we're going to tag you, come in and sign it, okay, because we're going to send you to, you don't want to sign, you don't want to on the tag, we don't want you on the tag, but we're going to trade you to this team, and they're going to take care of you. They're going to sign you to at least a 3-year deal. They said they're going to, I mean, they're going to give you 25 to 30 million guaranteed or something like that. You got 3 years. You'll be happy, right? We're going to get back a 3rd round in return, right? Everybody's happy, right? But I mean, don't look for the Giants. I mean, it'd be pretty tough. I think it'd be kind of foolish to tag them at $12 million and basically, tie up half of their salary cap money to Saquon. That just wouldn't make much sense. I mean, the only way that I said it would make sense is if they tagged and then traded him. As I said, but they have to. He's got to sign on a dotted line to something, because if you don't, then they can't trade him. So, all right, guys, it's officially hitting 1 hour. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Man, that was ho. Go Giants. Woo! That's better. Oh, yeah.